Joe talks about Joe. And now, your host, Joe Slepsky.
Hey everybody, Joe here. Before we get into today's amazing episode recap of Renegades episode 3, I just want to remind you all that our after action report contest is wrapping up. Finally. Listen, I like to keep the doors open for anyone that wants to enter. We started this in early November, and we're going to wrap it up here in late January. If you've already entered, absolutely, I got you covered. I'll be reaching out in the next week or so to verify your address and send you up books. If this is the first you're hearing about this, because maybe you heard our first episode, which was the Christmas Holiday Special Spectacular, which I really hope you heard that, and I really hope everyone enjoyed that. What a load of fun it was to work with such amazing talents putting that one together. We're giving away some After Action Report books. If you're not familiar with their work, there's a whole bunch behind it, but Josh Eggman, who played Outback, the Tiger Force Outback in our holiday special, he and a whole team of people make these After Action Report books, and they gave me a lot of samples of older editions. They just recently funded their trivia and answer book. So this is to celebrate that and commemorate that. So if you're interested, it's a totally free giveaway. Just email me at joeonjoepod@gmail.com and let me know you want to join the contest. You can reach out to me on Facebook or Twitter and Instagram too, but email's me the best. And just put something about contest in the subject line and I'll find you. And I'll reach out, and then I will mail you for free at least one volume of these amazing books, and you're going to love them, and so on and so forth. So we're going to get back to the show now, so get ready for the full-on prompt and promo. And I appreciate everyone listening, and man, I hope everyone had a wonderful holiday season. And again, I really hope you enjoyed the holiday special. If you haven't heard it yet for some reason, go back, as it was dropped on Christmas Eve. It was a whole lot of fun to put together. And I appreciate each and every one of you. So Merry Christmas, Happy 2026, and email me about that After Action Report. And now, on to the show. Hello again, everybody, and welcome back to Joe on Joe. It's me, your host, Joe Slepsky. And we're back for another episode of G.I. Joe Renegades, where we're looking at every episode of the Renegades cartoon in sequential order. Painstaking detail. You know the way we do. For you new listeners, that's what the show originally started as. So go back to the archives and you can hear watch-along podcast episodes for all the Sunbow stuff, all the DIC stuff, all the extreme. And speaking of extreme, I want to welcome this week's guest, Shane Loggains. Shane, welcome back to Joe on Joe. The last time we spoke, you joined us for an episode of Extreme.
Yes, we did. It was actually my first time recording for a podcast, actually. So I was very honored that you will let me be a guest on your show.
Well, the honor was all mine because it was a lot of fun. And then you went on to then launch and or be a guest on a ton of other podcasts. Is this correct?
A few of them, yeah. I can list them out, or there's like a couple of them that I've done.
Your big one is your own podcast, which is Action Nerd Podcast,
yes.
Right?
Yeah, the Action Nerd Dudes Being Dudes, talking about movies, where I was fortunate enough to have you as one of my guests, where with a buddy of mine, and we created a little group called Dutch's Disciples.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun, and we watched Predator. We talked a lot about Predator.
Yep. We did the first Predator movie and Predator movie retrospective because Prey had just come out.
Right. Yeah, that was a lot of fun, and you've got a great view of action films. I remember having a lot of fun talking with you about that because it's just its own thing. Obviously, that's nothing groundbreaking to say, but to have an appreciation for that and have a real understanding of that, I think is a fun quality to have, and I think it fits well with the Renegades show because the Renegades is an action cartoon, more so than
very much so.
an entertainment, more so than like a funny or even like plot, like adventure driven show. It's really an ongoing adventure of the Joes versus the evil corporate conglomerate that is Cobra.
Very much so, yeah. Like I was telling a coworker today, I was like, yeah, I watched the first three episodes of Renegades because I was like, okay, Joe asked me to watch episode three. I'm not just gonna sit there and watch episode three because I'm like, what details I could have possibly missed from the first two episodes. And he was like, yeah, how was it? I was like, G.I. Joe and Resident Evil kind of feel, in my opinion.
Very much so.
Uh,
Yeah.
so I was like, okay. He was like, I might have to check it out. I don't know. Of course, I'm talking to a guy who served in the Marines, and he hears G.I. Joe and he kind of perks up, like, what?
And you reached out, which listeners, if you are interested in doing an episode of Renegades, do what Shane did and reach out to me on social media or at my email address. You can find me on socials at Joe on Joe Pod. That's Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Easy to find there. Send me a DM, or you can send me an email directly to joeonjoepod@gmail.com. And just let me know if you want to be a guest talking Renegades, and we'll set it up. It's real easy. We're on Zoom, make it nice and easy. So, what about Renegades spoke to you that you wanted to talk about? Was this a show that you watched when it was on live?
Oh, when it was on
Live.
live,
I say live. I say live as if they were drawing and animating the show live. I mean to say when it first aired.
no, it's like I've got bits and pieces and little clips from different episodes. Um, God, I remember this show came out. It was right after the Rise of Cobra movie had come out. And so they tied it in. It's like watching the show. I'm like, okay, yeah, that ties in with this movie. That ties in with the movie. Okay. Um, but I'm like, I, I've always like, been excited. Like, it's a new GI Joe cartoon, which I'm like, we need more.
Yeah, for sure. So, how much of this have you actually watched before this? Have you seen all these episodes, or is this pretty new to you?
It's fairly new to me. Kind almost like the Extreme Line. I saw bits and pieces before I sat down and watched the episode with you that we talked about, Sabotage in the Sky.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I just looked it up on my phone, but I'm like, wow, originally this show aired 15 years ago.
Yeah, which
So
I mean
I'm like,
isn't terribly long ago, but it does feel like it's forever ago. Um,
yeah.
however, however, a lot of these themes were echoed in the Paul Aller GI Joe comic series, the one of the final series from IDW that I want to say was like
Mhm.
2022 or 21. He echoed a
Yeah,
lot of this stuff, and that's what I'm learning as the more as we watch this stuff that there was a lot of that energy. That book took a lot of this Renegades energy from it, and I think that's a good thing. I think it was a good thing. I think that was an enjoyable run that kind of ended too short.
mhm.
What were your
I
initial what were your
well,
initial views on the animation style and stuff like that?
the animation style was like, I recognized the style. I recognized, what was it, James, or not James, Jason Marsden's voice. I was like, Max from Goof Troop?
Is that he played
So,
that? Who was Max?
yeah,
Is
he
that
was
is that Goofy's nephew or something?
Goofy's son.
Oh, okay.
So, it's like I got younger kids, so, I'm introducing them to some of the older cartoons from like when you and I were kids, and they're loving it. And I'm like, okay. And I saw like part of an anniversary thing. They were talking about the Goof Troop movie, uh, where they had him there. I was like, wait a minute, I remember that voice. And I was like, oh my God, okay. Goofy and Max and driving around in the replica of the car from the movie. So,
Right? Oh, funny.
when I heard that, kind of took me out of it. I'm like, oh wow. But
Now
watching the
this,
cartoon,
yeah.
watching this, I was like, okay. The animation style kind of mixes in the old and the newer stuff because like the backgrounds they look like they're the old painted on backgrounds from the old cartoons.
Yeah, I love it. I love this
Oh,
like kind of impressionistic background style. It actually looks really good in this episode because they're in well, first of all, they're in Chicago, so of course it looks good. But it's kind of got like there's some snow effects that are hitting the ground, which
hmm
I think work really well in this episode. So of the core members on this, because this is, it's not like a regular episode of any either Extreme or the old ones where, from episode to episode they could focus on, a new character. This is like basically saying, here's your core team, and we're going to focus on them every issue. So, you got Roadblock, Tunnel Rat, Snake Eyes, Duke, Scarlet. They at this point they've killed off Ripcord. We know he comes back. Um, am I forgetting anyone? No, I think that's it. Yeah, so
no,
far that's it. Yeah,
no,
that's so
it's
far
like
that's it. So
out of the Renegades, that's the core
yeah,
group. Yeah.
is there anyone in there though that like, is like one of your favorites, or anyone that you really enjoyed as a character, from the other versions of the show?
Well, honestly, it's like out of the Renegades, there's three of the members are like in my top five Joes, or
Awesome.
top five favorite Joes. So, uh, yeah, it's like I said on Sabotage and Sky, it was Lieutenant Falcon, Flint, Duke, Roadblock, and Snake Eyes, and we have Duke,
Great.
Roadblock, and Snake Eyes in the core group. So,
Yeah, and Flint's on the show already because it's like a bounty
oh
hunter
yeah,
chasing him. Not bounty hunter, but
yeah,
he's fully part of the government and stuff, but like acting like that. Yeah.
Intel Officer Flint coming to detain them from the investigation unit.
Right.
So,
Oh, that's cool. Well, good then. This should scratch all your itches. Before we get into the show, and listeners, if you're listening along, the whole goal of this is to we'll do a countdown and hit play on the show, and you can watch along with us and enjoy the show as we go. But before we get into that, Shane, how's your GI Joe love been lately? Like, it's been a long time since we've spoke. There's been a
it,
ton of different classified stuff come out. A ton of the Energon universe. I wasn't even going when we spoke. Where are you at with current day GI Joe?
oh, like I told you before off mic, I sadly had to move, so I lost a bunch of my collection because of different living
Yeah.
situations. So I just started rebuilding my collection because a local toy store here in Spokane, Washington, has a bunch of the classified line. And first time I walked into the store, like it was a kid in a toy store, and I was just basically running around
Literally.
like, oh my God. And I found the GI Joe stuff, and I picked up my to rebuild my collection. The first figure I happened to pick up, the only time I've ever seen it in the wild was at Never Enough Toys is the toy store. Uh, was Lieutenant Falcon from Classified, because
Uh-huh.
originally I was gonna like originally go with Flint or Falcon from the retro card line because they had the figures there. But then I saw the Classified figure and I grabbed it. I was like, this is it. This is the one I'm gonna do to start rebuilding my collection.
That's cool. Uh, have you been following any of the Energon stuff? Is that a
Uh,
thing that's been on your radar?
I just recently learned about it. It's like I told you off mic, I'd moved 3 times in 3 weeks because of bad living situations, and uh, so I'm like slowly getting like dipping my toes back into some of the stuff that I loved beforehand, and I'm uh just going on into it. Like last graphic novel collection I read was the uh the search for a new Cobra commander for GI Joe. Uh,
Hmm.
like all of Cobra was fighting each other, trying to who's going to be the new Cobra commander, that type thing. I've heard of the Energon line. I'm like, I this sounds cool. I gotta get into that. So
So you haven't. Okay, so you haven't dug in. You're not down with that,
not
but
yet,
that's
not
okay.
yet.
You know what's great about that though is that they're going to get a whole head of steam going with that whole line, and then when you do get back in your collecting groove, you're going to slide right in and have like years worth of cool stories to catch up on. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
So I think
which
I think
I'm
yeah,
highly looking forward to. I've been really wanting to get back into like headlong into the collecting stuff because last couple years with certain things has fallen by the wayside and it's been tough for
yeah.
me.
You know,
But
life gets in the way, and I say this with all earnestness. As collectors, I know I do. You know, it's a lot of times the collection and the you know, the passion for the thing that we love could sometimes get a little bit in the way of life, um,
yeah.
and vice versa. And it sounds like you've got a good perspective on that, you know, and you know what's important, which is, you know, taking care of your kids and, you know, just
Hmm.
taking care of yourself and stuff. And the collection stuff, that'll be there, you know, it's going to be there. Or you're going to loan up, do it like a lending library thing from a friend or so on, you know, vice versa. Or go online and read them, you know, read them for cheap on, you know, one of the streaming things
Oh,
like, yeah. So like, there's definitely ways for you to scratch the itch, but also, you know, take care of yourself, and it's important to do that, and I think it's important that you got that perspective, and that's that's really key. I know I'm going through it right now. I've got my comic collection is maxed out, has been for a little while, and you know, my wife and I we're I'll be honest, we're looking at some not I don't mean to be honest as if this is a tragic story. We're doing great, but like we're looking at some we might be doing some life changes next year, you know, as far as like just living and jobs and stuff like that. You know, she's getting ready to graduate from college. God bless her. Toilet Teal, getting her degree from Cobra University from for executive toilet cleaning, and um, you know, so we're starting to think about big picture. Like, wow, do I really want to move all these comics again? Like what do I do? So I'm looking at taking, you know, really shrinking that down, which is that's a huge life thing for me. You know, that's comics are something
yeah.
that I've done, you know, since I was 12, and I, you know, they'll never be out of my life, but it is me going, okay, I'm 50. There's a lot of this stuff I'm never going to reread, a lot that I want to keep. But there's a lot that I'm going through that I'm like, you know what, I can get rid of that. It's as good a time as any to pitch, go to JOJ Comics and More at eBay. Uh, and I'm selling a bunch of comic books all the time. But the real part of this is it's that collector in me. It's talking to that collector and saying it's okay to not be a completist with everything. You know, like you've got a lot of pelts on the wall, and you can move on and start to refocus the things that are important. I think that's something every collector at some point kind of comes to grips with. You know, we can't all be millionaires with, you know, 15 cars in a garage. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. I was just like, for a while, I was like, I gotta cut down my comic collection and my figures, that type of thing. So yeah, I totally understand you. And uh, I lucked out because I got an awesome girlfriend now who supports me, and she went into the toy store with me, and we were both. Uh, there's just a few months age difference. I am older than she is by
Mm-hmm.
10 months.
Robbing the
And
cradle, getting them young girls. I
yeah,
get
yeah,
it.
it's like I'm 41 and she's 40. So yeah, but another thing is it's like getting back into like, oh, the GI Joe cartoons. It's going to be slightly different now because I blame her, but I'm actually kind of happy about it. She has an 18-year-old daughter with a 9-month-old daughter herself, so I'm now technically a grandfather, and I'm like, I get to
Wow.
show this kid. Yeah, I know. It's like I technically get to show this little girl the cartoons that I got to watch as a kid and show her like the nerdy side and introduce her
Sure.
to that type of stuff.
Well, I'll
So
tell you
like
what.
eventually,
Here's a tip. Here's a tip from a veteran of an uncle of three young girls. They're now who are now amazing. Two of them are over 20, you know, 21 and older, and the other one's about to graduate high school. Don't show them the last unicorn. Don't do it.
nope. No, it's like I was gonna go.
I made that
Actually,
mistake early on. I was like, oh, I remember this from when we were kids, and it scared. Piper so much. It's the one movie you don't want to show kids anymore. It's just too scarring.
No, no, like I'm like, okay, this baby, uh, jokingly with my girlfriend, I'm like, yeah, the granddaughter's gonna be running around the house going, Kalima, Kalima.
Oh yeah. Oh, get that Temple of Doom in there. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, I'm stoked to watch this with you, my friend. So,
Oh yeah.
listeners, get all ready. Shane, I'll hit play and it'll stream, and we'll be in Fat City here in 1 second. So, yeah. So we're watching episode 3, which my episode 3 is called The Package. You said Tubi was calling it what?
Rage.
Rage. I feel like
Yeah.
Rage is a more appropriate name for what happens, right?
Yeah, yeah. It's like so when you first booted it up, I was like, wait a second, because yeah, like it's called the package on Flex, and I'm looking on IMDb. It's actually called Rage. So
Yeah.
because
So
the pack,
so
oh, okay, they just switched the title for episode 3 and 5 because episode five's title's the package, and episode 3 is Rage. But it you're watching off of Plex, and they sounds like they just switched the names.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, so it is definitely the episode Rage, listeners. So it is absolutely the one about the preacher and tunnel rat. Spoiler alert for the rest of the show. So we're
Uh-huh.
on the right episode, but you are correct. Plex has it named wrong. Plex, how dare you let me down in my time of need? But it did at least have them in the right order, and it does make sense story wise. Like we're not losing anything story, so it didn't seem like it was out of place. So we're in good shape. It's just it is called Rage, and you know what? I'll get that fixed in Plex. I'm gonna call Plex headquarters and yell at somebody. So
All
all
right,
right, listeners, what's that?
I was gonna say, well, it's like if it was on Crackle, I might have the email for some of the like the two head honchos at Crackle. So,
All right, so listeners, on the count of 3, we'll get ready, and 1, 2, 3. So we open on an idyllic little traffic jam outside of Chicago. Of course, that makes sense because what is Chicago but traffic? And I gotta say, this is the second time we're having this conversation. Shane, you've got the patience of
There's a state police checkpoint ahead.
who has patience? Elephants? Who has patience?
I don't know.
Patience
I
of a
really
saint.
don't.
Listeners,
Cops about to swarm.
I have quite the elaborate setup here. And I last time we did this, I wrote down all the instructions of what needed to be muted and what didn't. And this time I couldn't find that instruction. So we lost all of Shane's audio in the accompanying video. So the interview is legit. And this is part 2 of Shane Loggains' visit, or should we say Paintbrush, codename Paintbrush, his visit to Joe on Joe. So it's a, hey, take 2. The Joes are stuck in traffic. They need a distraction. The Joes are, as we saw last time from the previous episode, they had stolen one of the Cobra, like corporate vans. But they're like, it's weird because they're like military vans.
It's an armored truck.
Yeah, yeah. But in this universe, apparently that's normalized, because Cobra runs everything. So they're the ones that are normalized, but Snake Eyes is driving around in a stolen vamp with police sirens on top.
Cobra.
And when they realized they needed a distraction to not get them caught, Snake Eyes pulled a move that's straight out of Smokey and the Bandit. And like how the Bandit would be a blocker for Snowman, and like if there were cops, Bandit would drive up and act the fool, so the cop would go after Bandit instead of the truck with all the bootleg cores in it. That's what Snake Eyes just did here. Snake Eyes pulled a Bandit and got the cops on his tail so the Joes can make their getaway, which I respect. Wholeheartedly and fully respect. So Snake Eyes is hiding at the bottom of the water from the cops. They don't know what to do as the Joes drive past. It's a total, it's a sweet move on the Joes half.
can't count on the magic ninja to save us every time.
I like that they recognize that he's Magic Ninja.
Yep.
You know,
Magic Ninja can't always save us.
no,
yeah.
he can't, and it's just it's good, like, you know, in universe recognition of amazing things, right? Like,
Yeah.
that it's not just us that goes, how did he do that? That's what I think is pretty cool. So now here's a soldier. We never really find out who this dude is, if this dude is meant to be somebody. Spoiler alert.
He's a vet. That's all
He's
they
just
say.
a vet. Yeah. Spoiler alert. Some of the other vets that we're going to meet in this episode are like quietly, they're, you know, Easter eggs versions of the original 13 Joes. But I don't think this dude necessarily is, per se. This dude just seems like an unhinged wacko. Oh, and the Joes are now, as Stalker used to say in the comic books, in mufti. They're in disguise. Roadblock's wearing a sweet Hawaiian shirt.
A little reminiscent of Chuckles.
Very Chuckles-esque. I will say, when I was watching this for the first time, I thought this would have been a good opportunity to actually clothe them in their traditional toy looks, right? Like Duke puts on a khaki shirt, Roadblock puts on a camouflage, t-shirt kind of a thing. Like, you could have had fun with that. They go more normal that fits with this world, which makes sense. But I really think that could have been fun, especially with this episode having these callbacks to the old Joes. We meet Doc right here.
Yeah.
And we see these other soldiers that are laying in bed too, which a couple of them later on, we surmise they're Clutch and maybe Grunt. We're not exactly sure. That might have been Stalker or Zap laying in bed. I'm not exactly sure.
Angle?
I was double checking my old files and noticed Cobra has been shipping.
It's like I like the way Duke looks in this one because, kind of modernized. Like when I was younger, I get a military. I still kind of do get a military style haircut.
Mm-hmm.
And the hair kind of sticks up at the top, so I'm like, all right, this is true. And
right. Yeah,
and
he looks like a child.
a little
Definitely
bit.
looks like a child on the show, but I like
You know what?
I like the
Roadblock
look.
Is the perfect name for you. All you do is. I'm out of here.
And here we go. The introduction of the heavy metal music or rock and roll music that.
The second time this episode, because beginning of it, Roadblock, when he was driving, he was playing the music.
Right. Now we got on a nice Walkman or MP3 player, and actually that was really a Walkman.
Yeah.
You notice there was a button on the side, like that was this is 2000 and what is this 2010, and they got him using cassette tapes because that was a Walkman. There was not an IP, like an MP3 player or an iPod or something.
It was a Walkman, and it was interesting, and out of all of them, when they're in their civilian attire, like I said, it was Tunnel Rat who looks the most civilian.
He really does. Yeah. Yeah, really
and you
does.
got
And he looks good.
Yeah, it's like when I first watched this, I called because just like the look of the priest giving Tunnel Rat the coffee, I'm like, oh, evil priest.
Yeah, well, there's that. Yeah. Now, so real quick now again, listeners, we're not hiding the fact this is the second time we're watching this. So, is that priest? Is that supposed to be? Is that Scrap Iron? Is that the same priest, or do we ever find out who the priest
I think
is?
they're playing it off as Scrap Iron.
So that was Scrap Iron dressed as a priest.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't catch that the first time. One thing about this animation, and also when you draw them looking more normal, it's harder to. They're so sparsely drawn. You know what I mean? Like it's harder to distinguish faces from faces, so it's harder to. So I never put that together the first time that we watched this. That was the same model as Scrap Iron. But now we meet Ralph Pulaski, everybody, Steeler, star of Worlds Without End, the absolute greatest episode of G.I. Joe: Real American Hero cartoon from back in the day. So that's him, right? The guy at the board, that's the priest?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, then that's Scrap Iron.
How does today's sketch look?
Physically adequate, Mr. McCullen.
Are we
As for their
sure?
mental state, only time will tell.
Yeah, I thought that was scrap iron.
Well, I'm gonna pay closer attention when we meet him later on, because if not, then we never really figure out who the priest. It makes sense that it would be Scrap Iron, but let's take a look.
Yeah.
He's got. I'm gonna hear his voice a little bit, and I know listeners listening to this are probably like, "Yeah, dummy. Of course, it's the same guy." But we also meet Destro for the first time. So Destro here in not in his traditional Destro look. No mask.
Initiate the sonic tone.
Just James.
All right,
just McCullough.
What is with that noise? My brain is gonna.
Yeah, Baroness kind of talking and slightly flirty, in my opinion, with him.
And Tunnel Rat wakes up. So Tunnel Rat was drugged by the coffee. Tunnel Rat wakes up, and they're in these mech suits, right? And these mech suits are very reminiscent of the Cobra snake armor. He's got something around his head that very much looks like, think of Psych Out's headgear, or Lobot, frankly, Lobot from Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah, Lobot.
Yeah. And the two mechs are fighting each other, and they're using the audio cues to get them, so mind control, to get them to fight in these giant mechs. So it's a little like, it's mech fighting. I don't love the look of them from a design standpoint. I mean, it's a fine design, but like they're a little, they don't feel G.I. Joe to me.
No, they don't. Like I said, when we first did this, I kind of got more of the amp suit from Avatar feel.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, they don't feel very G.I. Joe. Like there's something about it that feels like it's a fun design that someone had on their computer, because they're also done in 3D graphics, rendered in like computer 3D versus whatever animation they're, the animation style they're using for the people.
I was gonna say, you recognize the guy who does the voice of McCullough?
Yeah, isn't that what's his face from Highlander, the bad guy from Highlander, Clancy Brown?
The Kurgan, yep. Clancy Brown.
Yeah.
I had to look it up just to be on the safe side, because I'm like, is that Clancy Brown?
Oh, it's Clancy Brown. I recognize his voice for sure.
Oh yeah, I love that guy.
Yeah, that's also the cool thing. The show really it got some good names to do the voices on it. Which we love our voices from back in the day. But I think one of the staples of modern animation, which I actually don't think is great, is that they go for like actual names, so they can be like, Clancy Brown plays Destro.
I know there's a
Clancy Brown's great, so I actually remove him. I don't mean him specifically, because he really does good voices and he does a lot of voice work. But like, this era especially, it was all about like the celebrity stunt casting for voice work, and I'm like, there's so many talented voice actors that
they still do the stunt voice work nowadays.
Did you see there was a video that we just had New York Comic Con when we were recording this, and they announced the voice for some, was it Pokemon or something? They announced the voice actress for some upcoming animated something or other, and it was Megan Fox.
You again.
And the crowd, to say they were nonplussed would be an understatement. Like this is
that's
live.
Probably because they probably played Mortal Kombat 1. So
right, that's what the article is referencing. They were like, her voice work and that was apparently terrible, and so now she's playing,
yes, it was.
She's playing something in something coming up. I forget what the property was.
Yeah,
but like the live video from this Comic-Con crowd, which was a large crowd, like it was huge. The crowd could not have cared less, and it got really, really ugly. Like, didn't go to boos, but it definitely went to, no one is happy that you just revealed that Megan Fox is the big voice. It's like, and that's what I mean by, let's get good voice actors. I'd rather have really, really great vocal performances than, great names on it, Having said that, Clancy Brown's great. So he's always, he's always welcome. And it is wonderful when you get that cross section of a name actor who can actually do the voice work, because that's a big thing.
Doing?
So they're in the hospital. Tunnel Rat's been rescued. He's in Doc's hospital, and Roadblock puts his rock and roll music onto Tunnel Rat to kind of help him out. And Snake Eyes just did the Urashikage cooldown touch on him, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Snake Eyes came in there. Tunnel Rat was freaking out, and Snake Eyes gave him a little bit of acupuncture and like, chill, dude.
Damn, Tunnel Rat had coffee stains all over him.
Yeah, it's the
Wasn't the other
the
rat
Arashikage
truly
mind meld
awesome?
almost
Yeah,
going,
dude.
huh?
Uh-huh. So yeah, that is him. That's scrap iron, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that's scrap iron. I didn't put that together the first time we watched this. I too apparently was fooled by the collar. They do use the telltale clue of coffee stains to figure out that's how they're going to find who kidnapped and tortured their buddy.
Oh yeah.
Which is pretty great. Like you could see him going through every Starbucks in town, threatening baristas left and right. Like,
Well, it's funny because where I live. There's like 3 or 4 different coffee shops. So you say Starbucks, and the first thing I'm thinking is Dutch Bros or Jitters. Personally, so
well, you're in the Northwest, right? Where are you
yeah,
at?
Pacific Northwest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's the home of coffee in
it's
America, right?
Yeah.
This can't be good.
Just on the other side of the state, it's like I'm in the eastern part of Washington
Oh, okay.
compared to Seattle in the west.
Okay. I need to get
So-
up there. I've never actually been. So now Roadblock wakes up in the same scenario. He's in this mech suit.
This isn't about thought. It's about
McCullough's,
instinct. That instinct in particular.
what's interesting is like they're not
But I'd prefer it not be directed
mind
towards
controlling them in the sense of like, you do this. They're just turning, that's why this episode's called Rage. They're just turning them into rage machines. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
they turn up a frequency that engages like their rage function, and they want to fight.
Right.
Like, I like the look when you could see it trying to take over on Roadblock. How he like screaming, snarling, wide-eyed beast. It looks like he's possessed in a way.
Yeah. And he's resisting more than Tunnel Rat did. So we know that he's,
Mhm.
you know, that feels like that should be bragging rights later on. Also, this is basically the plot to the movie Strange Brew. Do you remember that with Bob and Doug McKenzie?
Yep.
While the main plot of that movie obviously is them getting beer, the plot of the bad guy was he was trying to incite a race war by using audio pitches, and he had the people in the black stormtrooper armor fighting the people in the white stormtrooper armor, just like this, where he would turn up the rage meter and they would go at it. So, you know, G.I. Joe's stealing from the best. Let's put it that way. That moment right there was great. That was a little where they're like they had Duke basically is great for the storytelling of the show, because they had Duke rehash or summarize the kind of the overall plot of the entire cartoon, which is one organization, one business corporation is responsible for all the evil in the world, because Duke still doesn't believe that in this, you know, where we're at right now, right?
Yeah, it's like he doesn't believe it, but Scarlet's like constantly on the Cobra hunt.
Oh, for sure, yeah. So having him say that to her,
We can recruit soldiers with
I like that, because it catches catches viewers up without hammering it over the head at the beginning of the show, but to remind them mid-show that, yeah, this is kind of the whole thrust of the entire series, is that they're fighting this evil corporation.
Looks like this one has friends.
So now that Joe's they just busted through the garage door, basically. And now Destro is sending Roadblock to 11, as we like to say. And Roadblock is using his mech suit to attack the entire truck.
Well, it's like the first time we viewed it, I mentioned how Roblox destroying those mini tanks, and I said they look like his tanks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they did.
So kind of like the his tanks from G.I. Joe Retaliation there.
Yeah, very much so.
So,
and now back at the hospital, Tunnel Rat's waking up. He sees the other soldiers are still unconscious, and he needs to try to find his way back into the action.
And how he's irritated that he's listening to Roblox music.
Yeah, right. That's great. Which is another solid storytelling bit, like leaving the breadcrumb for eventually that's one of the MacGuffins that's helped save the day, right? The loud music. So
Mhm.
it's a little breadcrumb keeping us reminding us that that's something that's going to come into play. They don't just mention it once and then and come back to it. Snake Eye shows up. He's in his sweet jacket, which first time we went through, it took us a second to look this up, but now we know the answer. Snake Eyes number 50, version 57 from 2012. It was an Amazon exclusive. They put out with this sweet jacket. I love it. I think it's a cool look. I like it a lot.
Oh yeah, very much so. Have the collar popped up and covering part of, even covering more of his, his face.
Yeah, for sure. I think it looks great. Roadblock is now breaking free, so to speak.
Yeah, he's going full Hulk right now.
Yeah. he's very angry. Destro and Scrap Iron have jumped on a helicopter gunship, and they're now, they're firing at Roadblock. And Roadblock has had the front of the chassis, the canopy, ripped off, so he could be shot in the face. He looks like looks like Ironmonger from the first Iron Man movie.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is it me or does the front of that helicopter kind of look like a skull?
Oh yeah, it totally does.
So
yeah, it totally is. Also, the color scheme matches the Iron Grenadier color scheme too. Like it fits in. So do the mechs too as well. So they cranked it up, and Roadblock got really angry again because he had snapped out of it, but now he's back into it. And Destro's gonna kill him with a missile, which Roadblock deftly catches and throws back. And whammo, it explodes in front of the helicopter, damaging Scrap Iron's face. But they fly away, they survive the day because it's Destro and Scrap Iron. But Roadblock is, he's very torn right now. He hears the music. He's trying to snap out of it fully, and Snake Eyes shows up and slices him out of the computer that's controlling his brain. Always trusting, Snake Eyes, this is the magic ninja. He's going to show up and help you out.
Yep. It's like disconnects Roadblock on it and just like, okay, here's where the CPU is. I'm just going to stab it right now.
Yeah, so now we see Scrap Iron's been damaged, which feels more like a Major Blood thing, but was Scrap Iron messed up? Because I know they talked about Firefly having a lot of scars from all the demolitions. I mean, it makes sense. He deals with demolitions. He should, that totally makes sense. But
so it's like a image of Scrap Iron that I found that's normal. It's like he's just got a helmet and a visor on you, so we don't really see his face.
Yeah.
But it's like I found an image of what he looks like later in the show, and
is he jacked up?
Oh yeah, he's jacked up.
Oh, good.
Like a few scars, like he can't even see. His right eye is completely sealed shut.
That's pretty cool. So here we go.
Ordinary Joes.
They call themselves Ordinary Joes, and we meet Steeler.
Look me up. They used to call me Steeler.
That's pretty great. And that's got to be Clutch on the one side, and I'm thinking that's supposed to be Grunt on the other side. I guess it doesn't feel like Flash. It doesn't. Definitely not Zap. Short Fuse, I think, had short blonde hair.
And then Doc is like, "Hey, there's somebody looking for you," and they're gone. They're right around the corner, and you get Flint and Lady J.
Flint and Jay show up. Now you love Flint, right?
Oh yeah. I just like the look of him. Growing up around the military, he looks like people that I would see. And funny enough, it's like because Flint's a warrant officer, that means he outranks Duke. The only GI Joe and that they've introduced so far out of the core group that technically can outrank Flint is Scarlet.
Got it.
So because Flint's a warrant officer, technically speaking, he does have the responsibilities and title of an officer, but he's more he's just in between. There's enlisted, then there's a warrant officer, and then there's officers.
I leave all that ranking up to our friends over at the After Action Report. I can't keep track of anything.
Oh yeah.
I just love it when someone comes in and yells at someone else, and then they have a showdown and they punch. That's
well, I looked it up. The voice actor who does Flint is actually Johnny Messner. Actor Johnny Messner, like he played a Navy SEAL in Tears of the Sun with Bruce Willis. He was the one with the mohawk.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's been a long time since I've
So-
seen that. But you're an action guy, a movie action nerd. So, listeners,
Yep.
one, thank you, Shane, for joining back up with the show. I appreciate it so much. It's great to have you back
it's all
on.
good.
It's great to reconnect, literally reconnect
Oh, yeah.
for the second episode, but also just to reconnect in person.
Oh
I
yeah.
think the world of you. Listeners, check out his Action Nerd podcast. I'm not sure if you're doing a lot of new episodes or what the plan is for that. Your link tree is ridiculously long. You've helped a lot of people on their shows, so I appreciate you helping us out.
It's like you're on the my link tree there.
I love it.
Like I've got local film studios. I've had some book authors that I've made friends with. One of my favorite actors is on it. He was the star of a little known movie in '97 called Starship Troopers. Him and his wife are awesome. I'm pimping out.
Are you joking about little known movie Starship Troopers?
Yes,
come
I
on,
was
okay,
I was being sarcastic there.
Yeah.
Buddy of mine who actually was quite inspired by G.I. Joe himself, Esteban Cervantes. He did a toy line, the first interdimensional strike team, Fist, which if you look it up, it's like G.I. Joe after World War III, where portals open up and first people come out are orcs with like AKs.
Cool. Now I will say this, listeners. We found pictures of those toys. They look really great. Like they're really, they are really cool. So I know that they're carried by the Big Bad Toy Store and things like that. However, I will caveat this: when you're looking up Fist toys, be careful. That is not a safe search to look up. Google will deliver some ridiculous results for you. So I believe it's Invincible Toys is the brand. So make sure you use the word Invincible Toys. Maybe even like 1.5 or 1/12 scale action figure, something like that. The names are like Doom Trooper, Mad Dog, Doom Sinner. If you just look up Fist Toys, you're in for a treat. So don't make the same mistake Joe did. Make your own mistakes.
Yeah, it's Big Bad Toys is probably the safest place to look it up. They look
pretty good, man. So yeah, you're out.
I had the Mad Dog figure and it was awesome. These figures are just a little taller than the classified toy line.
Cool. Well, you're out there making friends and influencing people all over the podcast sphere. I really appreciate you coming back on to Joe on Joe. I think the world of you, my friend. And let's not let it go this long before we reconnect. Maybe later down the Renegades, we'll get you. I think there's like 30 something episodes, so maybe we'll get you in the late 20s.
Oh yeah, definitely. Hit me up, and I'll definitely be there for you. And I'm gonna be starting up my podcast again, and I'm like, I gotta hit up Joe, get him on my show.
Oh, you know, I love talking action. I love talking action movies. So let's make that happen, listeners. Thank you so much for joining us. And now you, Joe, and Joeing is half the battle.